Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Wednesday, October 19th, 2016. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, from Asia to the USA, everything is up, except Hang Seng hung a little lower. Everything's not up a lot, but oil is, woof! Oil had a nice big jump. Matter of fact, it's now at July 2015 highs. That's right. Well, how come? Well, U.S. commercial crude inventories fell by 5.2 million barrels. The Energy Information Administration reported, however, analysts polled by Reuters had expected the EIA to report a crude build of 2.7 million barrels. However, a surprisingly large build of 2.5 million barrels in gasoline stocks that contrasted with analysts' expectations for a 1.3 million drop. So, one was off, the other was on. There's no reason for this, but you know the reason. Of course you know the reason. Also supporting oil is Saudi Energy Minister Khalid al-Falih said Wednesday that oil markets were at the end of a considerable downturn as fundamentals were improving and supply and demand were rebalancing, and they're all looking forward to that OPEC meeting on November 30th. So here we are, as we've been saying now for how long? A year. The range is between, we said 35 to around 60, now around 40 to 60 dollars a barrel. So, there you have it. And again, all they're doing is they're cutting back in November about 700,000 barrels per day, and you have an excess of 1.5 to 2 million barrels a day. So, gold went up. How come? Well, gold rises above key technical level amid Fed rate hike uncertainty. Now they're saying, this is one fellow, since Fed Chair Janet Yellen's speech last Friday, there is growing view, which I think is right, the right view, that the Fed is going to move very slowly. The market has discounted a December rate hike, said Bill O'Neill, co-founder of Logic Advisors. Fed fund futures imply a 65% probability for a rate hike in December. That's down from 70. So, what will happen? Here's what will happen, maybe, because it's in your trend alert. Trend alert. Yep. Are they going to raise rates? Well, there's a restaurant recession going on. Is it because there's an oversupply of outlets? Or is it an economic omen? Read your trend alert, history before it happened. What we put together, I haven't seen anywhere else. Again, we try to give you the best bang for your buck. And so please tell your friends, extend your subscriptions, and keep the truth in trends flowing. Because what we've also been talking about, on and on and on and on and on, is China boomtown, China buying up the world. And what was one of our top trends for 2016? Self-sustaining economies. Front page story of the Wall Street Journal, China's factories shop at home. Rising manufacturing skills mean they now purchase less materials overseas, altering global trade. China, along the world's factory floor, is taking control of a bigger portion of the world's supply chain as well, causing a shift in global trade patterns by buying from less abroad. And you go through this story The data is astounding. Exports to China, which had risen nearly every year since 1990, fell 14% last year, the largest annual drop, you ready, since 1960s. They're down another 9.2% this year through September. The story goes on and on to show that China is doing more of its business at home and less overseas. They're becoming more and more a self-sustaining economy. The proportion of foreign-made imports and Chinese exports has been shrinking by an average 1.6 percentage points a year over the past decade, and last year fell to 19.6% from more than 40% in the mid-1960s. Again, the business of America is war. The business of China is business. Starwood Capital sells stake in $2 billion hotel portfolio to China Life Insurance. That's right. Quote, "We're honored to have been given the opportunity to serve as stewards of China's life capital and thrilled to embark on a partnership that represents the first of its kind relationship for our firm," said Barry Sternlick, CEO of Starwood. "With this select service hotel portfolio, China Life has an efficient vehicle for investing in the United States economy as a whole." Isn't that great, huh? Because it's not only in China, it's in the United States China's investing. Australians weary over Beijing's hunt for assets. Big story in today's Financial Times. Yes, yes. Buying up everywhere. Australian developer Perth and Brisbane face housing slumps. Of course, a lot of these areas were built upon natural resources being exported to China. And by the way, China's buying up a lot of Australia as well, particularly in Sydney. There's a housing rush going on over there. Perth has become a one-trick pony, and of course that's finished, and we are struggling, said Nigel Sattlery, an Australian property developer. So, you can see where the trends are leading, and they're not leading to a lot of growth in America. It's stagnant. As a matter of fact, to see how bad it's gotten here in the States, hey, you remember Obama's signature thing that he did, other than the wars that he started in Libya and Syria, and expanding throughout Africa, is Obamacare. Oh, I don't care. And again, it's not socialized medicine. It's the merger of state and corporate powers where we, the little people, have to buy our insurance from private insurance companies. Fascism, Mussolini called it, the merger of state and corporate powers. This is an idea how some of the increases in, I love this name, of course. It's the Affordable Health Care Act. It's not so affordable anymore. You ready for this? In states including Arizona, Illinois, Montana, Alabama, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, the approved rate increases in the market leader top 50%. In New Mexico, Blue Cross Blue Shield, 93% increases. Yep. 30% increases and more in Alabama, Delaware, Hawaii, Kansas, Mississippi. Isn't that great? Yep. Dominant insurers in Connecticut, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, and Oregon have been allowed to raise premiums by 20%. Now, let's go back to your trend alert. Why is there a restaurant recession? Couldn't be healthcare costs? No. Couldn't be rising rent costs? No. It couldn't be because of lousy wages? No. And it couldn't be because of Obamacare. No. And speaking about how bad things are from the top to the bottom, Burberry shares in trenches as broker downgrades ratings. Again, it's rotting from the top down. Yep, Burberry shares fell more than 7% yesterday. An important story, we've been writing about it in the Trends Journal. We're going to be doing more and more about it in technology. Blockchain. Lenders to use blockchain database for Hong Kong mortgages. Bank of China and HSBC are among a group of lenders aiming to launch mortgage-backed services in Hong Kong using blockchain, the decentralized database technology behind the digital currency Bitcoin. Now, blockchain can be used to create a decentralized network of banks and surveyors through which the latest valuations can be listed, verified, and shared in a matter of seconds. This article goes on. We're going to keep you up to date on all the technological trends breaking so that not only you could see them coming, but profit from them. And to show you about the trepidation in the market, why it's still volatile, although it's pretty flat. Cash pile at highest level in 15 years. Investors skeptical of valuations on stocks and bonds pumped up their cash holdings to a level that ties the highest in nearly 15 years. Respondents cited the potential disintegration of the European Union, the possibility of a crash in bond market, and the U.S. presidential elections as top concerns in the global market. And of course, tonight, the final, not debate, they call it that, freak show of the presidential reality show. So we'll all be tuned into that and talking about tomorrow. And moving on to some international news, tensions flare up among allies in Mosul. Ah, yes, another costly losing war promoted by the media as we're going to get rid of ISIS and the thing is falling apart already. It will accomplish nothing other than murdering more people in a country that did nothing to America, posed no threat, a war based on lies that continues, and no one really cares about it. Oh, 2 American soldiers were killed in Afghanistan. No, it must be a mistake. There are no boots on the ground over there, and Obama had promised to get them out of there anyway, so that must be a misprint. And talking about the election, millennials aren't fired up. Presidential race spurs less interest than the last 2 campaigns, a worry for the Clinton team. A new Wall Street Journal NBC poll showed only 54% of the voters under the age of 35 rated themselves highly interested. Remember, 54%, that's down from 60% in 2012, and that was a lousy election, dull and boring with Mittens Romney and Obama, and well below the 72% of voters in the full electorate. And in a new NBC Wall Street Journal poll, Ms. Clinton led Mr. Trump among 18 to 29-year-olds likely to vote by 13 percentage points, but that's narrower than Mr. Obama's 23-point margin over Mittens Romney. And Trump, complaining that they're not giving him fair coverage. You know, they bombed the Orange County Republican Party headquarters in North Carolina. He's right. That would have been huge news if it was a Democratic one. Hey, look what happened to Tricky Dick Nixon when he went into that Democratic headquarters. They bombed the joint. It made the front page of the Wall Street Journal. one day in and out, you had to go to page 813 of the toilet paper of record, and we've been doing for a while, showing all the negative Trump stories and no negative Clinton stories on the front page. This was not worthy of front page. The picture is so small down at the bottom, you look at it, you don't even know what it is. Prostitutes, one after another. As voters tune out, low turnout is likely. Well, and that's the news. The presidential reality show tonight, will less voters turn out? Maybe not. We'll see. And what a show this is going to be tonight. Probably one of the most watched debates in the history of America. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.